It's Wednesday, August 5th, 2020. Welcome to the Day Weather Podcast. Today, a repeat of yesterday, but the coverage of thunderstorms will probably be a bit more widespread. Southeast winds on the ground, an opposite direction than the winds aloft coming in from the northwest. So again, the severe weather threat is with us. Essentially, it's the same setup as yesterday, but we've got a little more moisture available and a few of the key things that I think will make today's thunderstorm outbreak bigger. Hail, strong winds, and heavy rain, the biggest concerns. We did have some nasty thunderstorms yesterday that went right along the Colorado-Wyoming border. Now, fortunately, the storms missed the population areas. It was a thunderstorm, in fact, a couple, that produced up to 3 inches of hail covering the ground about 3 or 4 miles south of Cheyenne on Highway 85 between Greeley and Cheyenne. There was some flash flooding there as well, and we also had some other heavier thunderstorms, but they mainly stayed in the rural areas. Can we get lucky and have that happen again today? Well, we'll see, but today is another day to put the car in the garage or have a plan to take that vehicle and give it some shelter. Warmer, drier conditions start Friday through the weekend. We'll still have thunderstorms on Thursday, but not as many for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here's the Storm Prediction Center highlighting where they think the severe weather is going to be today. In this yellow area, southeastern Wyoming, northern Colorado, western Nebraska, again, is the bullseye of where the most severe thunderstorms will be. Anywhere else you see green or darker green, you're going to have thunderstorms, but the most severe weather, again, in a similar area that we had yesterday. Now, take a look at this. We have a really increased risk of hail today. Significant risk here in the black cross-hatching area, basically Colorado Springs, Denver, Fort Collins, Loveland, Cheyenne, to near Laramie, up to Wheatland, Torrington, Scotts Bluff. This is where there is a real high risk of hail today, large hail, and some very heavy downpours. So keep an eye on those skies late this afternoon and evening. When it comes to a tornado risk, there's actually a bit more tornado risk today as well in that same area. So it's going to be an active and busy afternoon and evening along Colorado and Wyoming's Front Range. This is the precipitation forecast through Friday afternoon. This basically shows where the thunderstorm activity will be. West of the Continental Divide, certainly the air is much, much drier, and we're not going to see very much activity there. Taking a look at the upper level pattern and see how things change, this is where we are today. The jet stream riding along like this. There's that northwest flow dipping into a trough across the Great Lakes in the Midwest. This is today, but watch what happens by Saturday. Well, the high is now shifting eastward, and the winds aloft are now coming up from the southwest. That's going to bring warmer, drier desert air in. Now, there is a little bit of monsoon moisture down here, but boy, it's not very impressive. So while southwest wind flow returns, there isn't a lot of water to come up. As we have talked about all summer, it's going to be a weak monsoon season. It has. And as we get to the tail end, and we are on the tail end of the monsoon season, it's just not going to be very impressive on the backside of it. So the thunderstorm chances really aren't going to be all that great this weekend and into early next week. Here's why. Here is the precipitable water forecast. This is for Friday. Notice the brown and the red here. Here's the moisture tongue that's over us right now. It gets pushed off to the east by Friday, and this drier air comes in. So this basically turns off, doesn't completely turn off thunderstorms, but there won't be as many, and there won't be as many that will produce good rain, and that all gets started here for Friday. And this basic pattern of drier air coming up from here is going to continue into the early parts of next week. And you can see down here in Mexico, we've got white and brown, but we don't have any green. So we don't have good moisture to come in. To bust the drought in some parts of Wyoming and Colorado and Nebraska, we're going to have some type of tropical system move into the Baja, into western Mexico, then get drawn up into here. We've seen that in August before, but there's no signs of that happening, at least over the next week to 10 days. Here's a La Niña update. Wow, look at this. This is textbook. La Niña continues to expand. Look how far across now those colder than average sea surface temperatures are from South America, just along the equator there. What's really important is it getting colder here, but it's really expanding. This is a signature that is showing that La Niña is really gaining strength, becoming persistent, and is going to go right on into the fall and winter seasons unless we see some type of reversal, but we really don't see that. We'll talk about La Niña in later podcasts, but as we have discussed all summer season, it's the reason that we've turned drier in the western United States, and it's a dry signal for the Central High Plains and Rockies. So we certainly don't like to see a La Niña getting going, but here it is, and it continues to grow and expand. Thanks for listening and watching the Day Weather Podcast. We'll see you on Thursday. Watch out for that hail today in southeastern Wyoming and the Front Range of Colorado.